I'm Kevin Hughes. This is Kevin G. Hughes Incorporated. This morning I'm going to be designing and sizing a carving that we have through their Vector Art 3D software for some woodworking. Great. Just going to open the file that I want to use, and it's this spiral acanthus rosette. I can choose my wood types and whatnot, and it's going to be out of this light colored wood. I can size it to any size I would like. This one's going to be 4 1/4 inches wide and 1/4 inch deep. I'm choosing my positioning on where it's going to sit on my router table, which will be spaced in 2 inches from either side. My thickness is 1 inch thick on the block, and when you look at it in an isometric view, you can see where it's orientated on the 1 inch thickness. So I have 1 inch of thickness from the face of my block to the back of the block. From that point, then it shows me that I have 3/4 of an inch beneath. So I'll apply that and move on to the next step to create a roughing tool path, which I'm going to use a 1/2 inch straight bit, and I'm going to pass over it at 0.4 of an inch to clean it out to remove the material. I'll calculate my machining time, which should probably take about a 1/2 minute to do. And it will come around and it will take off the majority of the material on the carving, just so that my final bit pass doesn't have to go over it more than necessary, or remove more material than necessary. Our finishing tool path, which I'm going to choose a ball nose bit. You can come in and choose from your list of tooling. I'll choose a ball nose bit here, which if I click on the right one, then it works. And I'm going to choose to make it go over the path 5% of the tool, so it's only going to go over 1/100th of an inch per pass. That's going to help it clean up very well and keep our details crisp. I'll calculate our machining time for that, which doesn't usually take as long as the roughing, and it'll show me my tool paths and how it's going to travel over and clean up this particular design just using the machine. In the end of the process, to get the true crisp details, you do have to clean it up by hand, but the majority of the work is done by the machine to produce the carving that you're looking for. Should you have a smaller bit, an 1/8 inch diameter bit, you can get much finer detail from the machine. At this point, I don't have an 1/8 inch bit, but soon we'll have one. So this is about done. That shows the tool pathing for how it's going to travel over. You can see its rapid points on the top where it comes up and moves over to next points. And the final thing I would do is create my cutout path, choosing a 1/4 inch straight bit, passing it at 1/8 of an inch per time. It's choosing the tool number in my machine, which is tool 7, has my spindle speeds, feed speeds, and plunge rates. And I'll calculate that time, which tells me it'll take about 3 minutes. So altogether, the carving will take roughly 40 minutes. You can preview your tool pathing as it cuts it out. There's your roughing. Secondly is your finishing tool path, what it'll look like after the ball nose bit comes on it and does its work, which it's generating. It's a lot of information there. And, you know, it cleans up, but there are some chatter marks that it will clean up as it gets cut out. And you can always refine it by hand, like I said before, to really give it that crisp, authentic detailing. And then the cutout path, which goes fairly quickly, leaving you with the look right here, if I'm in the right view, of what your carving can look like from all directions. From the face, from the side you can see your relief from the top of your block, you know, other views, go back to isometric, you know, so you get a really crisp looking. It says it'll take 31 minutes, that's at full rate. I slow it down a little bit, it'll take roughly around 40-some minutes. Shows all your tool pathing. You basically save your images, output it to the machine through your file codes for your G code that they were so kind to give us the processor too. And that's about it for doing a carving on the router. And it's working on one right now, which we can show you, which is the exact same carving. This is the roughing pass on the same rosette that we did after the first pass on the machine using the 1/2 inch straight bit. It comes in, it cleans out the majority of the material, allowing us to go back with the finishing bit to get the final details on it, which will start real soon. This is the beginning of the finishing pass. It's using the 1/4 inch ball nose bit, and it's traversing over its path 1/100th of an inch per pass, removing minimal amounts of material keeping the detail very crisp. So it'll take about 35-40 minutes, but we can pretty much leave it alone and move on to another operation. After the finishing tool pass with the 1/4-inch diameter ball tip bit, and it's carved into the wood, and the next step would be to cut that piece out of it and do our finished carvings. This is the rosette as it came out, so you see that it's cut thin. It's only a 1/4-inch thick, and all that's left on it is some cleanup work and some handwork to make the details around the leafing more crisp. But the majority of the handwork is going to take a little bit of time, and the machine saves us a ton of time in getting it this far for us.